The Watts family murders, which occurred on August 13, 2018, in Frederick, Colorado, shocked the nation due to the seemingly ordinary facade of the killer, Chris Watts, and the horrifying nature of his crimes against his pregnant wife, Shannon, and their two young daughters, Bella and Celeste. Here's the full story. Background: a seemingly perfect family. Christopher Lee Watts and Shannon Catherine Ruchek met in 2012 and married in 2014. They lived in a 5-bedroom home in Frederick, Colorado, and had 2 daughters, Bella Marie, born 2013, and Celeste Catherine, known as Cece, born 2015. Shannon was also 15 weeks pregnant with their 3rd child, a boy they planned to name Nico. Chris worked for Anadarko Petroleum, and Shannon was a successful sales representative for the multi-level marketing company Lavelle Thrive. Despite a 2015 bankruptcy filing, publicly, they presented themselves as a happy and loving family on social media. The disappearance, August 13, 2018. In the early morning hours of Monday, August 13, 2018, Shannon returned home from a business trip to Arizona, dropped off by her friend and colleague Nicole Atkinson around 1:48 a.m. Chris Watts was at home with the girls. Later that day, Nicole Atkinson became concerned when Shannon missed a prenatal appointment and wasn't responding to her texts or calls. She went to the Watts home and, unable to get a response, called Chris at work and then the Frederick Police Department. Chris Watts returned home, and police began a welfare check. Inside the house, they found Shannon's purse, car keys, phone, and lupus medication. Her car, with the girls' car seats inside, was in the garage, and Shannon's wedding ring was found on the bedside table. Chris Watts initially told police he had no idea where his family was, claiming Shannon had told him she was going to a friend's house with the children after an argument about their marriage. The deceptive public plea. In the days following the disappearance, Chris Watts made tearful public pleas on local news, begging for his family's safe return. He feigned distress, telling reporters, "If you're out there, just come back. I just want everybody back. This house is not the same without anybody in it." His calm demeanor and seemingly genuine concern fooled many. The FBI and Colorado Bureau of Investigation, CBI, joined the investigation. The confession and discovery of bodies, August 15th and 16th, 2018. As the investigation intensified, police grew suspicious of Chris's story. His behavior was inconsistent with that of a grieving husband. On August 15th, Chris Watts underwent a polygraph test, which he failed. Following the polygraph, he was confronted by investigators. He first confessed to his father, Ronnie Watts, and then to authorities, claiming he had killed Shannon in a fit of rage after she had smothered their 2 daughters. He alleged he discovered Bella's body first and then saw Shannon strangling Celeste, leading him to strangle Shannon. He then admitted to disposing of their bodies at an oil field where he worked. Chris Watts was arrested that same day. He later led investigators to an Anadarko Petroleum worksite. On August 16th, Shannon's body was found buried in a shallow grave near 2 crude oil tanks. The bodies of Bella, 4, and Celeste, 3, were found in the oil tanks themselves, having been pushed through small 8-inch diameter hatches at the top. Medical examiners later confirmed the girls had been smothered with his bare hands. The true narrative, later confessions. While Chris initially tried to blame Shannon for the girls' deaths, he eventually provided a more detailed and horrific confession in February 2019 during a 5-hour interview from prison. The true motive for the murders was his desire to start a new life with his mistress, Nicole Kessinger, whom he had been having an affair with since June 2018. His confession outlined the following. The argument. On August 13th, after Shannon returned from her trip, Chris initiated an argument. confessing his affair and his desire for a divorce. Shanann reportedly threatened to take the children, which enraged him. Shanann's murder. Chris strangled Shanann in their bed. She was 15 weeks pregnant. Daughter's murders. He then loaded Shanann's body and his 2 living daughters, Bella and Celeste, who were still alive, into his work truck. He drove to the isolated oil field. At the site, he first smothered 3-year-old Celeste with her favorite blanket and pushed her body through a tank hatch. 4-year-old Bella watched this horrific act unfold. She then pleaded with him, "Is the same thing gonna happen to me as Cece?" before he smothered her with the same blanket and disposed of her body in a separate oil tank. He then buried Shanann in a shallow grave nearby. Surveillance footage from a neighbor's security camera later confirmed Chris loading items into his truck in the early morning hours of August 13th, contradicting his initial claims. It also confirmed Shanann returning home that morning, proving she never left with the girls as he initially claimed. Charges and sentencing. On August 21, 2018, Chris Watts was formally charged with multiple counts, including 5 counts of first-degree murder, including an additional count for each child under 12, acknowledging his position of trust. 1 count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy. 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body. On November 6, 2018, Chris Watts pleaded guilty to all 9 counts as part of a plea deal.
Shanann's family did not wish for the death penalty, seeking to avoid further prolonged legal proceedings. On November 19, 2018, he was sentenced to 5 life sentences, 3 consecutive, 2 concurrent, without the possibility of parole. He also received an additional 48 years for the unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy and 36 years for the 3 charges of tampering with a deceased body. He is currently serving his sentence in a maximum security prison in Wisconsin. The Watts family murders remain a chilling case study in deception, the darkest aspects of human nature, and the shattering of a seemingly normal family life.